So let's talk about the self, right? To manifest or create whatever you want, you have to understand that there's no you that exists. Repeat that again. To manifest and create whatever you want, the I and the you does not exist. It is a made up system of repetition and program and patterns in the frontal part of the brain. We have delved into the brain. Neuroscience scanned every part of the brain. They can't find yourself. Repeat that again. Neuroscientists know every part of the brain. They know where it houses emotions, all that. There is no part of the brain that has the I or the me or Mark Houghton, my personality. None of that they cannot find in the brain. So the self is an illusion. It does not exist. What's actually happening is a broad system, independent system of stuff. Over here is the emotions. Over there is that. Over there is that. All that system of different branches of system. The mind is so smart. It brings all those together to give you a false illusion of a self. There's not one single. There's not you in there. And what exasperates this more is when the brain does that. The brain, the frontal lobe now also does a good job of examining its reality. So it sees people personality. It brings that into play, and that gives you and that creates the ego. That's how the ego is born. So you can see what the ego truly is. The ego is just a product of what? Of what it sees, what it remembers, what it creates its own version. Now, you buy into that version. Here's how you buy into the version of the self. Here's how you buy into the version of the self. You buy into the version of the self because of feelings, body, emotions, seeing, sight, smell, touch. Those five senses give you the illusion of the self. You want to go deep now? Let's go deep. The reason there cannot be a you or any of this stuff is a repulsive force is the only clue that makes you have an identity of this world. Everything you see around you tricks your brain to make you think you're experiencing reality. It's a little tiny repulsive force. They don't have a name for the force yet. It's like magnetic force. But so you want to go deeper? Let's be sure to go deeper. What you truly are and who you truly are is a wave. Go look up the meaning of a wave in quantum physics. You are a wave. So here's how it goes. You are a wave of potential possibilities, and then what happens is your consciousness tunes in and you become a version of a physical thing. But in actuality, you're all waves. Nothing is ever at rest. Before something becomes what we call material or real, it must form from a superposition, and then it becomes a definite thing. All particles, their natural states are waves. A wave, an atom, before it becomes the atom, you see it and becomes a force or a thing. It starts out as a wave. A wave means it's in every possible universe outcome in all these multidimensional universes. You exist in every possible outcome. Think about that. Yeah. All your dreams and desires exist as once. You can get them from anywhere. But you tune into this world because of a program to your conscious. I hope this is making sense to you guys. Hope you can understand that because this can get really deep. With the self, you get the impression of that stuff. Now, separate yourself from yourself by just focusing on the watcher. So the next thing now you must know about your brain is, okay, so when people all the time, individuals say, well, Mark, manifest. I want to manifest this. I want to do this. People will say, I want to win the lottery, Mark. I want to manifest so much stuff. I want to do this, Mark. But let me set you straight so you can get right. You will only ever create or manifest what you believe internally about your reality. You cannot see abundance or lots of money or anything if your mind isn't open to that. If you have a limited mind, you're going to be a limited manifester. If you have a open mind, you will be a unlimited master. That's why I said to individuals, I say always go into things with an open mind. So that means that you can examine what's going on around you right now. All of us have caps. You know what a cap is? There's a point where the subconscious stops us. We all have caps. Until you remove the cap, that's when you will get the unlimited stuff. The cap is, you cap, maybe you only ever all good at making 100,000, 200,000, 50,000. Cap, maybe you only make 1 million and you want to go to 5 million, 10 million, whatever. We all have caps. If you want to remove your caps out of your subconscious mind, you have to be awoke, realize this. You have to realize, like, you have to watch your patterns. If your patterns are, if you're making like if you want, say you're making 100,000, 50,000, you want to make 100,000. Every time you go to 100,000, something happens to sabotage you. Voila, you found your cap. It's like, man, so my mind only believes I'm good. I'm only 50,000 good. How do I bring it up to 100,000 good and then expand it to 200,000, 1 million? How do I get to be more deserving of love? How can I stop getting into toxic relationships? There's the cap. The patterns will give you an indication. For you to, you have to realize that. So once you realize your pattern, then you can go fix and remove the cap. How do I fix and remove the cap? Now you know it's coming from your subconscious. You want to target it. Hypnotherapy, auto hypnosis, question format affirmations, keeping your mind focused, reacting. Remember now how you react, changing your vocabulary. Don't see things as failure, see things as feedback. Yes, majority of humans live within the self. You guys are learning to live outside of the self, but we are all one source. We are part of what people call God, community, source, and everything. Look, I have to teach you. I have to show you how the things work, guys, so you could understand and emphasize. Maybe it can give you more freedom and kind of give you more clarity on what it is, guys. Everything you see around you came from nothing, including you. The fact that it came from nothing, what is the only thing that lets us aware of nothing? Awareness, consciousness, our self-awareness. That's the only thing that is real. That's who you are. That's the universe. Mind creates the matter. So you are part of that source. This universe cannot exist without you as a watcher. When you leave here and you go, this universe ceases to exist for you and everybody else in it. You go to maybe another universe, wherever else you go, but you control this universe. You control your environment. You control it now by the fact that you are aware and you can react. Those two things are very powerful. Being aware and react. When you can master those two things, that's when you enter the flow state. I'm going to teach you and show you how to master them. Very simple. Awareness is me noticing my thoughts. Awareness is me noticing my environment. Awareness is me tuning in to what's going on in the moment. Awareness is me not judging the stuff coming in, but just watching them like I'm watching the movie, like they're going out. Awareness is me that the stuff that I like come in, I give it a label. Awareness is understanding that this very moment is the only moment that truly exists, and that's important and nothing else matters. Awareness is living in this moment for what it is, appreciating it and keeping it going. That's awareness. See that? That's part one to get into the flow state. Part two, reaction. So how I react to what I'm aware of. So my reaction. Now this is where I have to change my language and how I interpret this world. My reaction to things now are always going to attempt to be in a neutral stance. So even though my ego would put labels on stuff, I go back and remind myself, Mark, you're the watcher. Look, you're observing. It helps me to settle that down. Then when something comes in, there's no failure anymore. Oh, Mark, this is a feedback. What is this teaching me? Why is this happening for me, not to me. I take out from a victim. Victim is out of my vocabulary. There's no victim mindset here. So what good can come from this? How can this help me? What feedback is this? How can this teach me? How can this make me better? Those are all things I inquire with whatever happens in my life. Then when I do that, I now start to change the chemistry of my brain. Neuroplasticity now starts to take effect. So now my brain now will start to see that, wait a minute, a lot of these stuff this guy used to say, they aren't a threat anymore. So let's calm them down. Let's start bringing into his environment things that will make him feel at peace. And that's now where I'm in the flow state. So now a lot of stuff are going to start to come into my way will be less stressful and more peaceful. And the more peace you have, the more joy you have. The more joy you have, the more downloads you have. Because all the systems in your body now are at rest. They're not hyped. They're not in fight or flight mode. The limbic system now calms down, which allows you to have eustress. There's two types of stress: distress and eustress. Distress is the bad stress, which causes cortisols and inflammation, all that stuff. Eustress is the good stress, which creates endorphins and makes you inspires and makes you think of great stuff. That now will put you in a flow state. Now when you're in a flow state, now you're connected, and that's where you can get a lot of good ideas, good people, good connections. They all start to come in, and you manifest a lot faster. It seems like a lot, but you manifest a lot of great stuff because you aren't attached to